Content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you. What's cracking, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chases. Now, before I want to, get into the proceedings this evening, I gotta give a shout out to the members of the Green Gorilla channel, the people who helped me to make things happen. I want to give a shout out to Black Dog, Odd Collar, The Face, Craig, Raphael Brown, Omni Americana, Deanne, Donald Watts, Barry Little, Ryan Jackson, hiphop.catv, Black Christian ADOS, Coach DC, The Remedy, Kashif Caldwell, Infamous Chillin', I Am Black Man, John Reads Too Much, Nichita, True King, B Hillfire, Mr. Blue Collar, Urban Nomad, Barnolas, Kyle J. Sura, I'm Just Jules, The Book of Ronin, Ab Media 83, Damon Harris, Brian McMurray, Mr. Lou Meth, Kitty Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Shop Talk Live, Mr. Heat, Afro Analyst, NEU, Ronan Martin, Issa Abdul Sahir, Sir Anthony, Deshaun Nolly, MLR, Charles Rogers, Universal 178, Black Swerve 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, C Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, The Nameless Protagonist, Black Pill Ned Stark, Arthur Unknown, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalon Jakala, Sherrod Martin, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Born Shaheed, James Washington, Hostile Adept, Southern Coast Dojo, W Pure One, Roguish the Billmonger, I Care, BGS Ibmore, Marvin Battle Jr. Also, I got to give a shout out to Dragon 59, Supreme Ibmore, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, NEU again, Momal, William Ruffin, and Asangwa. Thank you so much for being members of the Green Gorilla channel and helping me to keep things going. I appreciate that. Y'all deserve a round of applause for all of your efforts and all of your positive energy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everything y'all do keeps me uplifted. So I appreciate your energy and your kindness. And if you want to become a member of the Green Gorilla channel, here's how. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. So yeah, man, I'm back at it. I'm GG. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. You know what it is. And you know, I'm sorry, man. I've been absent for a little minute, man. There's some things going on, man. I just recently found out, man, my father had a stroke. And so, you know, just dealing with the rigors of life, man. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that's out there right now. Malika, I see you. Damon Harris, I see you. Alonzo, Marvin, I see you. Malak, Ab Media, Rodney Coleman, Mr. Heat. Thank you so much for your donation, Malika. I see you. So, you know, my father had a stroke, man, and, you know, he's my last surviving parent. And so, you know, just talking to him and trying to help him get through that. And, yeah, it's a hell of an experience, man. You know, you start to get older and you realize the mortality of your own parents. And, you know, they say once an adult, twice a child. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, just taking time off, man, to deal with what's really actually important. So anyway, man, so I kind of been on a little bit of a hiatus, man, but I'm back at it, man. Every day this week I'll be on and just continue to provide you with content to the best of my ability. So let's just get right to what we gotta do, man. Let's get to this news. Okay, man. So let's just get right to the news, and so we can fly through this cast, man, and get right to the main crux of the matter, which is, do black women deserve an apology? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I was so wrong. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but we gotta talk about a coup. Not an imaginary coup, not a ideological coup, not a play coup, but a real coup that happened in Indonesia. So anyway, man, in Burma, also known as Myanmar, a military there staged a real live coup, and they arrested civilian leaders of the government in Burma or Myanmar, including a person who won a Nobel laureate prize by the name of Aung San Suu Kyi. Now Biden, got a little upset about this, your new president, and he threatened to sanction Myanmar. And he basically assailed the country's army for that coup, because its military is the one who staged the coup. And he basically says, Biden does, it's a direct assault on the country's transition to democracy and rule of law. And then he goes on to say, the U.S. removed sanctions on Burma over the past decade based on progress towards democracy. The reversal of that progress will necessitate an immediate review of our sanction laws and authorities, followed by the appropriate actions. The U.S. will stand up for democracy wherever it's under attack. Now, let me just say this, man. There were accusations against the transparency of the current United States election. And this is, I'm guaranteeing you're going to see more contestation over elections, as the elections are purely electronic, or they're mail-in, or they're done ahead of time. How do you know that the people who are supposed to be fair arbiters and talliers of these elections are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing? How do you determine that? How do you determine that an election has been tabulated fairly and justly? How do you do that? I'm just asking. I guarantee you, the closer that these elections become, you're going to see more and more contestation in the U.S. over these kind of electoral processes. But it is what it is. But anyway, that's something that happened in the news. Also, I know if you heard of the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. They have a new president, and her name is Deborah Archer, a professor of law at New York University with expertise in civil rights and racial justice, is the first black woman, well, actually the first black person ever in its 101-year history to be elected the president. And Monday was when the announcement was made. She was elected over the weekend in a virtual meeting of the organization's 69-member board of directors. And she exceeds a white woman named Susan Herman, who was also a professor in New York, Brooklyn Law School, and she had served as the president since 2008. And as the ACLU's 8th president, Deborah Archer, will act as chair of its board of directors, overseeing organizational matters and setting of civil liberties policy. So the fight against racial injustice is going to be headed by a black woman. So get ready. Don't know what her ideological commitments are. Don't know where she stands on issues related to gender justice and black folks. But I imagine and this is just my imagination, I don't have any facts to verify this, but my guess is that it's going to be strongly intersectional. But hey. Last thing on the news, man, because I want to continue to get to what we got to get to, man. And I don't want to spend a lot of time here tonight, man. I just, because I got these personal things going on with my family, man. So anyway, I want to talk about GameStop and now silver. And I know a lot of you guys are traders out there, so you might find this interesting. So anyway, the erratic trading in shares of underdog companies like GameStop that turned markets combustible last week appears to have migrated to the commodities, basically sending silver prices surging to an 8-year high. So ultimately, silver futures jumped almost 12% Monday to over $30 per ounce, with hashtag silver squeeze trending on Twitter. Now that exuberance spread to companies that mine precious metals, especially silver. Shares of Pan American Silver surged to more than 9%. First Majestic Silver rose 18.7%. Hecla Mining spiked to 21.8%. And Core Mining soared to 17.6%. So silver prices that appear to have gone haywire, at least in part, right, appears to be an outgrowth of Wall Street Bets, which is a forum on Reddit. So an online army of traders on Reddit banded together for the past week to snap up thousands of shares of GameStop, AMC, and other struggling chains, stocks that have been heavily shorted. And I don't know if you know what a short sale is, but a short sale is betting on a stock that you think will fall or fail. So in the process, they've done heavy damage to those hedge funds in a reversal of Wall Street power. But the rush into silver futures has created confusion amidst the chaos, with some retail traders on Reddit calling the surge in commodity prices a false flag. In other words, it's a trap, they say. And this surge in silver prices is trying to lure those Reddit bandits in. But they ain't going for it. So don't invest in silver, man. Guard your money, man. It's a trap. And you don't want to get caught in the trap, man. So anyway, today is the first day of February, man. And you know what that is. It's Black History Month. Man, it is Black History Month, man. And on today, famous actor and a comedian, Garrett Morris, who's now 84, was born. I don't have a visual of Garrett Morris, but you know who he is. He's an actor and comedian, most well known for his stint on Saturday Night Live, who was born in NOLA, baby, New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, Morris played Junior, or Uncle Junior, on the sitcom The Jamie Foxx Show. Morris also had a starring role as Earl Washington on the CBS sitcom Two Broke Girls, and he was also known for his role on the sitcom Martin as Stan Winters from 92 to 1995. So shout out to him, man. Happy birthday today, brother. Another notable birthday today is the singer, the super freak singer, Rick James. I'm Rick James, bitch. Rick James was born today, February 1st, man. And, you know, he's most, again, well known for his song, Super Freak. But he has a list of hits, man. Shout out to Rick James, man. May you rest in heaven, my brother. Also today, a member of my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, brother Langston Hughes was born. He basically reached the age of 65 before he passed, and he was born in my state, Joplin, Missouri. And he was a poet, novelist, playwright, short story writer, and a columnist. He's also known for his work during the Harlem Renaissance. So shout out to brother Langston Hughes, man. May you rest in heaven, man. I'll let you later, man. See you in Omega chapter, dog. Also, it's important for you guys to know that before there was a Negro or a Black History Month, there was Negro History Week. And it was launched today, February the 1st, by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. And he introduced Negro history after he graduated from Harvard with his PhD. And basically, Carter was disturbed by the lack of Black historical information in textbooks. So he founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And it's been changed now, this organization, to the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life and History. History. It's also known as ASLA. And, you know, they have a conference every year. And it's a pretty big conference in the academy. And basically, he launched in 1926 Negro History Week as a way to bring national attention to the contributions of Black people throughout American history. And in 1976, it became, right, Black History Month. So shout out to Carter G. Woodson, shout out to Langston Hughes, shout out to Rick James, and shout out to Garrett Morris. And may they all rest in heaven, except for Garrett Morris, and may he enjoy his day. So, on to the next subject, man. And you know what that subject is, man. I'm not gonna hold my breath on this, man, and take all day to get to this, man. So when I come back from this quick break, man, we're gonna get right into the proceedings this evening, man, and talk about the subject matter of, do Black women deserve an apology from Black men? And I'm gonna read an article for you, and you be the judge. Do Black women deserve an apology? So I'll be back in 1 second. When we come back, we're gonna get right to that. All right? All right. There's a brother, man, who wrote an article. His name is Dr. James Thomas Jones. And in the article, he says it's time that Black men apologize to Black women. One Black man's response to a dear friend's assertion. So, okay, this is where we are. So, he says that some conversations seem to stick in an active portion of the brain, type of conversations that remain dormant until something unexpected and usually unrelated brings it to the forefront of one's mind. During a recent moment of meditation, a long-forgotten conversation with a trusted female friend resurfaced in a way that made it impossible to ignore. So in other words, this guy's just sitting around one day, and then he had a recollection, and then the idea came to him that, oh, I need to revisit this conversation. It has had an indelible impact on me such that now I have to contend with it. I have to deal with this conversation. And he says, I will not bore you with the entirety of the conversation in this space, but I'll give you the most succinct recitation as I remember it. The entire conversation revolved around the best path to end the ongoing civil war between black men and black women, and it reduced to the following statement. It is time that black men apologized to black women. Now, can you imagine this, man? Can you imagine? I'm just making sure the microphone is on. Okay. Can you imagine sitting with a black woman that's a friend and her telling you, you need to apologize. Black men need to apologize to black women. Now, the first thing that's interesting, though, about it is, and this man writes on issues about manhood, race, and culture. Okay? He's a doctor. He has a PhD. And he's urging for the apology of black men to black women. And look, let me just say this, man. If it was possible to end conflict between a group of people by merely uttering the words, I'm sorry, I apologize, I was wrong, I didn't mean to treat you this way, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, maybe it would be practical if it would wash away all of the problems by merely uttering words, I'm sorry. One could argue it might be beneficial to actually do it. However, we already know. I've been in relationships, you've been in relationships, you've had problems with various persons. It very rarely, if ever, is impactful for a person to merely just say, after a long period of conflict, I'm sorry. What is that supposed to do? Just uttering some words, I'm sorry. Even if you mean it. But maybe perhaps if it was possible to alleviate the conflict, it might be the beneficial thing to do. But I don't think it would. I don't think it will. Because the problems are more deep-seated and the culpability for the problems that lie therein are not just supposed to be placed at the footsteps of black men. I think it's a rather silly notion. But I also think it's a way to shame and to guilt men to begin with, to make them feel ashamed for something. Only people who are forced to or called upon to apologize are people who've done something wrong to someone else. Now, in the context of a relationship between people, it's usually two people who've done things that are wrong, not just one person. It's usually two people that are doing hurtful and harmful things to one another and responding to one another in a harmful or hurtful way. So even if it could, would this be practical? Probably not practical at all. Okay? Anyway, he says, at first, I scoffed at the notion that black men needed to apologize to black women about anything without a second thought. There's been far too much said by both combatants in this civil war for one group to issue an apology to an adversary that consistently delivered serious blows from a host of angles as if they were channeling the spirit of Iron Mike Tyson during his early days. And I agree with that. This statement here, I agree with. So his knee-jerk reaction is what I just said in so many words. Scoffing at the notion that black men needed to apologize to black women about anything with a second thought. What do I have to apologize for? For what? For what? After all the mudslinging and the fighting. Then he says, though, yet a combination of time, after thinking about it, after experience, and the understanding of history and a deep reflection has forced me to revisit the issue. Of course, the still reverberating words of Brother Malcolm that was activated without any prodding. I'm sure that I'm not the only black man whose life experience and adoration of Malcolm X have led to this thought being pinned to the forefront of their mind. Namely, that the black woman is the most disrespected person on the planet. Now, I love Brother Malcolm. I like most of what Brother Malcolm has to say. But I would like to understand how and in what way have black women been the most disrespected persons on the planet. I need for someone to spell that out to me. Disrespected how? By being killed? By being raped? By being humiliated? By being subjugated? By being subjected to violence? Like what is the marker here of disrespect? This is what I would like to understand and know. Because I can tell you most assuredly that you cannot even begin to disrespect a group of women without first having disrespected an entire group of men. But I don't even want to go into that just yet. So he says, alas, my understanding of what can be best termed a civil war between black men and black women that stretches across several generations had appeared at the forefront of my mind. Its arrival was akin to a supreme challenge that struck my understanding of manhood and what it means to be a black man in America. Okay, so there's a civil war between black men and black women that stretches across several generations, and it came to the forefront of his mind. But who started it? Who started this war? If there is a war, who started this? Was it black men? I don't think it was black men. In fact, we've traced the origins of all of this all the way through slavery up till now. I've read articles for you from Robert Staples. Some of you have done research on your own. But black men have never been in a position of power over black women. We don't run institutions. We don't run education, financial, legislative, executive, judicial, executive, nothing. We don't run any of these institutions. So we have no power. Even if we were disrespectful, what power do we have to change or alter the trajectory of black women's lives? But we've been charged with trying to be like white men over black women. We want to institute the same kind of ways that white men act and interact with their women on black women, but we can't. And because we can't, the only way we can respond to our impotence is through violence. That's the argument that's been levied against us. This is the claim that's being made about us. And the question is or is this not disrespectful, given our position in history? But let me go on. I was forced to consider the validity of Malcolm X's statement regarding the horrific disrespect that he asserted that black women have received from all of those around them. Okay, like, what kind of disrespect? Like disrespect by calling them out of their names? Disrespect in what way? I'm just trying to figure it out. Maybe you have some suggestions. Maybe you know something I don't know. Okay? Unfortunately, this list of offenders that have used black women as a reliable tool included their harsh desires includes black men. I don't understand that. That's a typo. Unfortunately, this list of offenders that have used black women as a reliable tool to included their heart's desires, includes black men. Anyway, that's just all crazy. Anyway, black women are being used, I think, is the idea that he's trying to put forth here. Then he says the historical record proves that black women were always excluded from any rewards when goals are secured. And all I can say to this, man, that's some straight bullshit, dude. Women are excluded from black women are excluded from any rewards. So we already know that during slavery, black men were not the head of the household. That's the first thing. So let me drop a bomb on that one. When it came time for black men to actually participate in the government, immediately after slavery, there was Reconstruction, and then after Reconstruction came the Black Codes and Jim Crow. Immediately after that. And all the while, the people who were stymieing and who were preventing that from occurring were white women in conjunction with black women. I've gone over this with you. You had Sojourner Truth, who basically says, women want the right to vote. These white women want the right to vote, and they better get it. Otherwise, black men will do what white men are doing to white women. Which is what? Making sure that they live in the lap of luxury and got everything that they want and be provided for? I just don't understand it. So anyway, they're excluded from rewards. Even though black men are the most progressive group of men in the country related to gender justice, sexual justice, and racial justice in terms of their mindset and their opinions. More than any other group of men, more than white men, Hispanics, or Asians. But I digress. Then he says, although equally painful and embarrassing to admit, there appears to be a segment of black men who have learned from whites that the most assured means of advancing in this requires an engagement and exploitation of black women. There we go again. So here it is again. Black men are the white people of black people because they're trying to imitate or to copy white men. Here it is again. You see this theme everywhere you look. That black men are trying to imitate the behavior of white men. Although equally painful and embarrassing to admit, there appears to be a segment of black men who have learned from whites, learned from white people, that the most assured means of advancing in this requires an engagement and exploitation of black women. Exploiting them how? Exploiting them for what? Sex? A place to live? Taking their money? Like, what is it that black men are doing to exploit black women? In what way is what I would like to know. Maybe going to get a job, marrying them, having relationships with them, in which, for the most part, men are expected to pay the bill, to foot the bill. Men are expected to play certain roles, social roles, when dating. And 9 times out of 10, the man is going to be expected to provide financial security for the woman, not the other way around. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen that way. Not saying it doesn't. But damn, in the majority of cases, is it not true that black men are trying to fulfill the wishes of black women when they engage in relationships with these women, man? For real. And exploiting them how? By extracting their labor? Because I know exploitation means you're using someone. Using them how? According to this playbook, black women are to be engaged, exploited for their usefulness, and then discarded and denied at an opportune moment? How? See, this man is a doctor, so I would like to know what he means by discarded. Discarded how? In what way? By being independent? By going your own way? By what? I just don't understand what this guy is saying. According to this playbook, black women ought to be engaged, exploited for their usefulness. Useful how? By having children? Sex? What is it? He never specifies. Anyway, he says, if I was not well versed in the historical record, I could be convinced that all black men view black women as little more than a means to some desired end. However, this same historical record and personal experience prove that not all black men have viewed the women of their race as a beast of burden. A beast of burden how? I just don't understand this. How are black women being used as beasts of burden? By cooking? That makes a woman a beast of burden. By cleaning? That makes a woman a beast of burden? How do you use a black woman as a beast of burden? How? I just don't understand the questions, man. I don't get it. Anyway, he says, yet this does not cancel the inexcusable fact that there are black men in our midst whose desperate struggle to survive makes exploitation second nature. Okay, so you got some guys who use black women. How do they use them? Do they take their money? Do they live in their houses? What do these men do to these women that exploits them? Because I know for a fact, it's a whole shit ton of black women who are living in men's houses and they ain't paying a fucking dime. Is that exploitative? Or is that just business as usual? That's just the way things are supposed to go. That's how they're supposed to occur. It sounds like exploitation to me. But hey, unfortunately for black women, they are more likely to encounter exploiters than upstanding black men, if for no other reason than the former never cease their hunt for their next victim. A victim? Look, first of all, man, black women are adults. They can decide who they want to deal with and who they don't want to deal with. If they decide to deal with a man who they know is not bringing any money to the table, if they know that they're dealing with a man who is without housing and they have housing, if they know that they are dealing with a man who is uneducated and they have education, it seems like they've made a choice to me. Men don't even think like this. If a woman is not educated and that man decides he wants to be with that woman, he's accepting that woman where she is, how she is, and he's got to deal with it. But on the other hand, if the shoe is put on the other foot, if we flip the script and turn the coin, a whole different set of norms and social expectations ensue. But the funny thing about it is, black men have been held down in this country for so long, have been denied opportunities for so long, have had to endure watching women be advanced before himself, have had to endure being told that he wants to be like a white man precisely because he actually wants to make something out of his life. While everyone else accepts these positions without any doubt that they're doing anything other than being their best selves. They don't have to second guess the fact that, oh, I'm being put or thrust into a leadership position. There's nothing wrong with it. Black men have to second guess that. all while being denied the ability to actually be put into those positions. But yet and still, when the shoe is on the other foot, it's exploitation. But anyway, then he says, rest assured that upstanding black men, what are upstanding black men? Black men who serve, black men who buy, black men who give women what they want, black women what they want. Is that an upstanding black man? The man who can foot the bill, pay all the bills. To do what traditional men have been able to do in a society that's everything but traditional. A society that's going out of its way to ensure that women have the same access that men do to jobs. Even more so in this climate. Anyway, rest assured that upstanding black men are aware of the presence of those whose every interaction with black women is self-advantageous. Let me stop for a second here, man. Look, let me stop for 1 second and just make sure that I got y'all still here, man. Think about this, man. And I just want you to think about it for a second, right? And I'm gonna go back to the article, man. I wanted to look and see what y'all was doing in the chat. And I can't do this at the same time and look at the chat. But take, for example, a show. And I really don't like to refer to other content creators, man, but I gotta refer to Kevin Samuels at this point. Think about his show and what black women are there for. Most of the time when you see interactions between him and these women. Here are women looking for a man that has things that they want. Typically, it's money. Money is the deciding factor. Money and prestige. Money and prestige. Is that not looking for a man to use? I just don't understand this. Like, we have written and enshrined into our culture the use of men. And women have no problem telling you explicitly, I want a man with money so he can pay my bills. I should not have to pay for anything. If I go on a date, I shouldn't have to pay. If I live in a house, I shouldn't have to pay. If the light bills need to stay on, I shouldn't have to pay. Food need to be eaten, I don't think I should have to pay. Now, I may pay if I decide to pay, but I don't think I should have to pay. But they're doing the same kind of work that men are doing. They believe that they should do the same type of work that men are doing, but they don't feel as if they're obligated to pitch in. Or even if it's the case that they are involved with a man who doesn't have the kind of job that they do, that they still are not supposed to chip in to the extent to which a man is. So tell me who's being exploited here? And increasingly, it's become apparent that women feel that doing work within the context of the home is overburdensome. It's too much. Cooking, cleaning, washing is too much. Taking care of children is too much. Men need to take up some of the slack. So they don't even want to do what's traditionally been done amongst women anymore without complaining about it. But at the same time, expect for men to do all this paying. And that's how they come in. That's the mindset that they have going into relationships. But yet and still, we have to keep in mind what? That self-advantage is what men got on their minds? That seems like a bum-ass deal, don't it? That you got to pay for everything, deal with a whole bunch of complaining and a whole bunch of resistance and a non-compliant individual, but at the same time, you end up being an exploiter. Explain to me how that shit works, because I don't get it. Anyway, he says, yet we remain silent, the upstanding black men. In other words, the black white knights remain quiet regarding such matters. A daunting decision that flows from a desire to mind our own business. Such passivism remains our standard verse until one of these individuals or someone socialized by them emerges in the life of our daughter, niece, or even mother with a voracious appetite to devour all that they can access. Okay, so let's say, for example, that there are men like this, right? That there are men who just want to use women. For what? Their money? For what? Their housing? For what? Because it's a whole list, a laundry list of things that occur to black men and men in general that are exploitative by the actions of black women, like child support, to men who they know is not the father of the fucking kid, like going out on dates and eating without expecting to even have any inkling of a sincere relationship with the person that they went out with. Like somebody who's trying to exploit somebody to get married to them, to spend a little time with them, and then to bounce, and then to take their money, half of the shit that they acquired or accumulated throughout their lifetime. But we don't want to have those kind of conversations, though. It's all about men who are exploiting women. And I'm not saying that there aren't any men that don't exploit women. I'm pretty sure that there are. But in general, in our culture, men are taught, they're socialized into making sure that women have provisions, not the other way around. Not the other way around. So explain to me why there's this preponderance of evidence, which he demonstrates none of, to be quite honest, because he gives no specific examples about what he means by exploitation, how it's done, and what the men do in order to play the daughters, the sisters, the nieces, or whatever. How are these men using these women? What, driving their cars? Which would be perfectly fine if a woman did the same to a man. No problem whatsoever. And then they'll go off to the next guy if that man runs out of resources. We all know it's true. Anyway, he says that there are upstanding men who don't say anything about it and they mind their own business until something happens to one of their daughters or their nieces or whatever the case may be, or their mother. Trust me when I say that efforts to protect black women from predatory black men will continue to fail as long as we allow their manufacturing within our community. Okay, so the manufacturing of men who are exploitative and predatory to black women will continue until we what? Don't manufacture these kind of men anymore? But then the question becomes, sir, who in the fuck is manufacturing these children, man? What kind of homes are they being raised in, sir? Who's educating and enculturating these children, sir? It would seem that it's single black mothers who are doing so, sir. Am I wrong or am I right? So if that's the case, sir, how do you stop the socialization of men to behave in a specific kind of way? In other words, not knowing how to actually be men because they're taught by women how to be men, which they can't really actually do. They have no idea how to do it, have no advice that's substantive or that's actually, you know, useful to give to young boys. Explain to me who's manufacturing these motherfuckers? It's women. Women are the ones manufacturing these kind of guys. At the end of the day. Then he says, I guess this journey began with the daunting assertion that began with what I consider to be an illogical demand that forces me to realize that maybe, just maybe, black men should apologize to black women for not providing an impenetrable hedge of protection around them against all those that seek to disrespect and prey on them. See, look, man, this is what I end up saying, man. I'm going to read the rest of it, though, because I almost feel like I don't want to read the rest of this shit. But black men, so if I'm person A, there's another person, person B. Okay, I'm person A, there's a person B. He's dealing with a specific woman, a C. A does something to C. Then B is made to apologize for what A did to C, but had no direct relationship to either B or C. Explain to me what the fuck should A does something to C, and B has to apologize for what A did to C because he should have made sure there was an impenetrable barrier around C. Who the fuck thinks like this, man? It's not any man's job to protect miscellaneous black women, especially black women who push men out of the social situation or institution which actually would have provided them protection in the first fucking place. So when you get the man out of the house, you tell the man that he's no longer able to serve as a lead in a leadership role, but then you want that motherfucker to protect you. How can you protect somebody that won't listen to you? How can you protect somebody that operates independently of you? How can you protect somebody who's shunning you and telling you that you're a problem? How do you protect somebody like that? How do you protect somebody that you're doing your best to disempower? How do you protect somebody like that? And then why should I protect somebody who's not part of my family? It's not my job to protect miscellaneous women and to make sure they have impenetrable barriers around them. If I was to do that shit, I wouldn't be able to spend time doing anything for myself. And we act as if predatory behavior is something only men do to women, as if women do nothing predatory. I mean, all you got to do is look at the shows on YouTube, man, in this space, and you'll see example after example after example of how men get used and discarded by women. Over and over and again and again. But we don't want to have a conversation. We need to make sure they're protected, but still we have no respect and they won't listen and they're independent. How do you protect an independent person who operates independently of you? It's impossible. Anyway, in a world where black men consistently demand the right to be head of household and leaders within the community, the state of unprotected, depressed, unstable, and uncertain black girls, females, and women must be placed at their feet. The state of unprotected, depressed, and unstable and uncertain black girls, females, and women must be placed at their feet. Huh? Black men consistently demand the right to be the head of household and leaders within their community. The last time I checked, it was black women who were demanding to be the head of household by getting rid of the motherfucking man. The last time I checked, the leaders of the community were black women. They were the backbone of the black community. The last time I checked, though, they still made these claims that they were unprotected. But how do you protect somebody if they're the head? You're not even the head of the household. How can you protect something you're not the head of? How? The onus is on black men to bring a cease to this nation's grandest tradition of all. Disrespecting black men by all Americans, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. Oh, shit, here we go. Disrespecting black men by all Americans, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. Please do not take this as a call that I believe black women need to be saved. Well, what the fuck is protecting somebody other than saving them from harm? What is it? This dude is speaking all over the place, man. The onus is on black men to bring a cease to this nation's grandest tradition of all, disrespecting black men by all Americans, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. Please do not take this as a call that I believe black women need to be saved. The historical record proves that this is not the case. What is the historical record, man? What are examples? However, I think that we all could benefit from black men refusing to join others in their never-ending pursuit to denigrate, disrespect, and destroy the souls and bodies of black women at every turn. Where is that happening, bruh? They're denigrating, disrespecting, and destroying the souls? How so, sir? Give me an example of how it's occurring. Do you mean by rape? Do you mean by domestic violence? Do you mean by what? What do you mean? But see, he won't speak about it because then he would actually have to weigh in on the scientific evidence related to the phenomena. That is what he's not doing. So if I was to give this article a rating, I have to give it a D minus. Some straight bullshit. I have to give that some bullshit, man. I just don't understand it. I don't quite get it. I'm gonna look at what some of y'all are saying in the chat, and then I'm gonna break wide and get the hell up out of here. I just don't understand it. Man, there's a lot of comments going on out here. Man, if y'all slow down a little bit, man. So anyway, Black Uhuru Strike says the article has no support for the thesis he offers. This man has a doctorate, does not speak well of the institution that awarded him that honor. Well, you know, I don't know what type of degree the man has or not. I really don't. All I can say is if you're going to say that there's a phenomenon that's occurring to a specific segment of the population, then you have to give examples of what it means. You have to give examples. What are you talking about? To say that someone is disrespecting you, in what way are you disrespecting these people? If they're being exploited, in what way are they explicitly being exploited? If you say that someone is hurt, what ways are they hurt? But let me explain something to you. This is what an individual in academia is saying who does research on men. And if that's the case, we got a problem. I would like to invite this guy on the show to understand what he means. I would like to understand what it is you mean by what it is you're saying. Explain it. Give me some examples. Tell me how it's occurring. So there's a civil war going on. And it's primarily black men's fault, and black men need to apologize for it and start protecting black women. I said this before and I'll say this again. Imagine that you're a bodyguard. I'm a bodyguard, right? And it's my job to watch over a client and to make sure that they don't get hurt. But everything I tell my client refuses to comply with. So I tell my client, look, don't go outside without telling me you're going outside. Okay. But then the next thing you know, they're outside anyway. They fuck around and get robbed. The next thing they do is they blame you for not protecting them. I told you not to go outside. But you went outside on your own because you felt you were independent and that there was no risk. But you did what you wanted to do. But now it's my fault because I was the person who's supposed to be your bodyguard. You got shot because you got sloppy. You can't protect a body if that body will not listen to the protector. I remember being told in various ways. I remember this in various ways about the ways in which black men actually actively try to protect black women. For one, how they dress. Look, babe, you shouldn't go outside looking like that. It's going to bring you unwanted attention. You can't police my body. You can't tell me what to do. You can't control my sexuality. All right. Now, you done took your ass out there with them hot ass pants on, with them come fuck me outfit on. And now you wonder why you got this negative attention coming towards you. Now you wonder why there's a whole bunch of guys coming at you. I told you not to dress like that. But you did what you wanted to do, because what, you just gonna educate men to be different than how they are? If you got a come fuck me outfit on, men are gonna try to come fuck you. And it has nothing to do with what's right, what's fair. I'm talking about how it is. You got a woman that's looking loose out in the public. She's getting drunk and fucked up out in public. Somebody's gonna see what it's about. We talking about reality versus the way this society is an imaginary society, man, where people imagine that all they got to do is teach people how they should behave, and then all of a sudden they're going to do away with millennia of biology and anthropology. Like they can just eliminate the shit. If I tell a woman, look, don't wear yourself thin. You don't need to be fucking with all these different kinds of guys. Find one dude that you know is a solid dude and fuck with him. But no, she want to go out and fuck this dude, that dude, that dude, that dude, and that dude, and that dude. Well, men do it and use it as an excuse, then wonder why she gets treated differently by other men. You tell them, you're trying to police my body. No, I'm trying to tell you how not to put yourself at risk for STDs, from having children, and a whole bunch of other crazy shit. But if you tell them, you're trying to police them. Explain it. I would like women to explain it. I'm trying to tell you not to do shit that's going to put you at risk. If I know that I'm about to go to the ghetto, man, if I know I'm going to the hood, is it in my best interest to have on, like, if I'm a rapper, I'm like, say for example, I'm fucking Gucci. Gucci don't need to be in the projects with a motherfucking fat ass diamond chain on. He doesn't need to do that. Now, he could do that, but if I was his bodyguard, I would say, look here, bruh, don't go to the hood wearing that, man. Strip down, man. We don't need the unnecessary attention. We don't need that heat. But he does it anyway. Can't nobody tell me what I can't wear. Can't nobody tell me. Then you get robbed. Some motherfuckers come and they rob your ass because you look like a big, fat, juicy steak. Then you make it the bodyguard's fault when the bodyguard told you from the beginning, don't do that, bruh. Don't do that, bruh. So how do you protect a group of people that won't listen? They will not listen. And anything you tell them, they consider it to be an affront to their independence. Not only that, think about the orientation between men and women and what it's historically been. You got a group of women who have the access to education in the way that men don't. You have women who got jobs that men can't get. You have women earning money that a lot of men can't earn. But they still want that super duper nigga, the traditional black man. But they have none of the traditional values themselves. They want men with traditional values of manhood, but they are different women. And the world has been orchestrated in such a way that it benefits them at every turn and to make sure that they're comfortable in every way. It seems to me that we live in an era, man, women have it better than they've ever had it, ever. Ever. But still they complain about it. You got what you want, but you want more than what you wanted when you wanted what you wanted. So, I mean, should black men apologize to black women? Well, okay, this is when I say it's okay for a black man to apologize to a black woman. If he does something specifically that's wrong to that specific woman, yes. That black woman deserves an apology. But in mass, black men need to start apologizing to black women? That's fucking ridiculous. Why would I apologize to someone I've done nothing to? We live in a different time. We live in a different era. This whole problem between black men and women, I don't see it being worked out anytime soon. Until something cataclysmic happens in this society, then everything will change. Only the conditions of civilization itself are going to change these issues. Otherwise, they're going to persist. I just, explain it. Do black women deserve an apology? If a motherfucking man did something specifically wrong to you, you deserve an apology. All black men writ large do not owe you a fucking apology. No, they do not. We could have been united directly after the civil rights movement. But second wave feminism came in, and the first thing that happened, black women slowly but surely start reiterating their talking points. They start aping the same conversation that white women had. Well, white women, have always been subjected to debasement and exploitation. Really? Is that how it is? I thought white men went out and fought wars in order to protect y'all asses. Because you don't have none of the shit that you have without white men having gone out and killed and robbed and stole from motherfuckers in order to get what they got. I thought that's what happened. But in an act of ingratitude, these women, not all of them, but quite a few of them, demanded that they be given the same treatment as men. So they began to disrupt the institution of marriage. And black women follow right behind them. They follow right behind them. They start doing what white women were doing. And ultimately, all this shit is, and I hate to tell you this, motherfuckers don't want to hear this. The feminist movement is nothing more than neoliberal bourgeois culture, man. Women wanting access to neoliberal bourgeois culture. That's exactly what it is. They don't want to do the dirty work. They want to get the good work. They want to work in the skyscrapers that have comfortable heating and air conditioning. They don't want to take their asses out to these sewage plants. They don't want to work on these goddamn construction sites. They don't want to work in ice storms, fixing the electricity when the cords are down. They don't want to do that shit. It's too dangerous. It's too dirty. They want the nice, cushy jobs. That's what they want access to. They want access to white-collar careers. That's what they have ambitions for. And that's all they have ambitions for. They don't have ambitions for family life apart from them and the children. It's just them and it's me and my kids. My kids are the most important thing to me. It's not even family. It's not even the context of an entire family. It's the context of them and their children, which they say they possess like dogs. That's their children, not their and the other parents' children. It's their children. And if they decide, like Rodney Coleman says, when they get married, they don't want to work, period. They want comfort without struggling or work. A woman always has the option to do fucking nothing and will never, ever be humiliated for it. If a woman decides to sit at the crib and do fucking absolutely nothing, no one's going to criticize her and say she's lazy. No one's going to look at that woman and say, you're not doing what you ought to be doing. You ought to be providing some usefulness or utility to the household. No one's going to say that to her. Let a man do some shit like that. The first thing that's going to be said is, he's not protecting black women. He's exploitative. He's doing something wrong. He's off of the mark. I'm just telling you how it is. A white woman goes to college for a career. Then says, fuck it, I don't want a career anymore. I met a really nice guy. He's going into banking. I'm just going to be a housewife. Yay, I hit the fucking lottery. Is that or is that not exploitative? Thinking that your conjunction with a man is basically like winning the fucking lottery. You looking for a lottery ticket. And who is that fair to? This is why you go back, man. I got to go back to it, man. And this is the last time I'm going to go to this, though. Proverbs, man. Proverbs 31, baby. What they say there? The sayings of King Lemuel. What'd he say? A wife of noble character who can find? She's worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. This is some fucking Old Testament shit. And the woman is doing work. She's doing work. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She buys a field. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor, extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. In other words, she does something of fucking use to the household. She's not just there looking for a motherfucker to pay her way. But this is typical of women in Western culture. It's a schizophrenic ideal. On the one hand, they feel like they deserve to be provided and protected for, but also while they're being provided and protected for, they want to be able to do what they want, how they want, when they want. Explain how that's supposed to work. It can't work. It's untenable. Nobody is going to allow themselves to be used like a utility forever. There has to be a balance between men and women in the context of relationships. It just so happens, women push to be able to enter the workplace. Now you got to contend with the fucking reality that you are in the workplace now. You no longer can basically be dependent upon men for an income and to take care of your ass. You move men out of the space. You begun to terraform the spaces such that they work for you. And you've driven men out of them. And you shame them and make demands upon them at the very same time that you occupy the spaces that they once held. How does it work? Now, I don't mean to denounce all women. All women don't think like this. But the reality of the situation is, look, men and women are not exactly the same. We're different. You can't change the nature of men. You can't, by trying to emasculate men, to re-educate men, make them think differently about the world. Apparently, you can to some men, because all you got to do is say the same shit. Sexism, racism, heteronormativity, and classism, and then everybody loses their fucking mind. So now the talking point is intersectional feminism. The Combahee River Collective has worked like a charm, but it still hasn't stopped women from wanting what they want. And they want masculine motherfucking men. They want, I don't care how much the woman earns, how, educated the woman is, she still wants the same kind of traditional dude. She really doesn't jive with these guys talking all of this Captain Save-A-Ho shit. They don't really like those guys. They like sexist men. Unfortunately. So all of the grandstanding and virtue signaling and all of the shit that these women are talking about, even feminist women like sexist men. They're more attracted to sexist men. Even women who are self-proclaimed feminists. They'll be the first ones to tell you, I don't like a weak man. I don't want a man I can walk over. I don't want a man I can talk all this and do anything I want to around. No, they don't. So no, do we owe women an apology? Writ large? No, I don't think so. Because black men, again, are the most progressive men on the planet. They don't have a problem with working with women. But women got to put in some work also. It ain't going to be a free ride where you get to sit on the couch like a fainting couch woman from the 19th century or 18th century. No, you don't get to sit like Bridgerton or some shit like that, where you go, you meet the man and he's a fucking duke. He got a castle and shit and servants and shit. That's not how the game works, man. That's not how life is. It's not real. So no, I don't think that black men owe black women an apology. I think we need a conversation, a real conversation. Not just at the level of interpersonal communication on social media. We need to be having these conversations in the academy. But unfortunately, They have trained black men to be fucking wet noodles. Flopping like fucking noodles and shit. Flopping like the little, you ever see Tax Time and they got the little dial and the wind's just blowing his ass everywhere? That's how they got men now. Like little blow up dials and shit, flapping in the wind. Everywhere you go. The Academy, it's the same way in Fortune 500 companies in America, multinational corporations. Everywhere you go, they're going to teach you how to be like that. To bend the knee to women. So, no, I don't think we owe them an apology at all. If you do something wrong to a specific woman, that woman deserves an apology. And if a woman does something specifically wrong to a specific man, that man deserves an apology. But all this shit about we should apologize, like, what would that even look like? What, every black man just gets on his fucking knees and shit and begs for forgiveness? Women don't even respect that shit in real life. In relationships, they don't respect that shit. They'll be like, man, stand up, man. The fuck is wrong with you? I mean, women don't like crying ass dudes. They don't like the shit. And I think Corey Green is right on this, man, when he says, white elites have an interest in men becoming women. That's exactly what they've done. They've tried to make men more like women. If we could just make the men more like women, then everything would be more fair. But see, here's the deal, man. The world is a dangerous place. It's always been dangerous. And people in this culture have been lulled into a false sense of security, and they think it's going to be sweet forever. But if you look at the annals of time, you'll see civilization after civilization that has risen into prominence, and then it's declined. That's just the facts. That's the reality. It ain't always going to be like this. This motherfucker eventually will fall. It will not last forever. Everything has a life cycle, just like a mall does, just like a car does, just like your life does. And when the shit gets tight again, then men will allow to be men again. And we won't start playing games about what a man is and it being terraformed to women's expectations. But anyway, man, I'll holler at y'all later, dude. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to drop that on you. And I'm back. I know I was gone for a while. Like I said, my father just had a stroke. And, I was about to come back in full swing, but I'm back in full swing now, man. My father's recovering, and he's in good health, man. He's all right. So I'm here to hit you with the facts, man. And I need to, at some point, I'm going to start hanging out with y'all and we can have conversations and dialogue. Right now, I can't dialogue with y'all until I get on this, till I get y'all on this OBS ninja shit. But until I get y'all on that, man, we, you just got to hear a soliloquy from me, GG. Anyway, man, I'm back at it like a crack addict. I'll holler at y'all later, man. We out this dime. Peace.
Lately I've been trying.